Hello there, guys. Glad to see all of you watching another video of mine. And I'm joined by two guests. It's collab week. So I got double trouble over here. Jan from Football Therapy and Louis from Louis Beneventi.
Feels weird saying that, doesn't it? That's a strange one. I mean, technically it's triple trouble because I count as two people. Especially during this lockdown. Damn. I'm like, mate, the harpoon guns were out when I was cycling down the road earlier. That was interesting times.
And you got a lasagna to go, right?
Yeah, I made it. I'm so proud of myself. It's my dinner. So, I'm gassed for this.
How you guys doing?
All right, mate. As good as it can be, really. Daily permitted runs. Went for a walk today. Making videos. Cleaning my apartment. What else? Did yoga for a while. That's burnt out a little bit. I've completed Netflix. Yeah, man. What about you, Louis? Making lasagnas?
I've been making a lot of food, to be fair. So I've been cooking a lot more than I used to at the flat. And then obviously I'm back home, so I've got a bit of a garden, so it's all right. I've been spending a lot of time on my dogs. So,
On your dogs?
No, with my dogs. Did I say on my dogs?
On your dogs.
I mean, yeah, he's a big dog. I rode him down the road.
You can spend time on dogs. So spending time on you, I spend time on my dogs.
Yeah,
it does sound weird though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Louis Beneventi, 21, likes to hang out home, make lasagna and spend time on dogs.
Wait, hang on, lads. Give me a minute. I'm just
quite right. Yes, quite right.
Give me a sec. Here we go. Like, there you go. Tinder bio has been changed. Perfect. Let's go.
Lovely.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. I know circumstances are crazy right now, and we haven't got much to do, haven't we?
That's true.
I mean, Jan's living a very full life. He's doing yoga. He's like Ryan Giggs.
I got the hairy chest of Ryan Giggs.
Basically, you're like a balding Jay Shetty.
Or a Pep Guardiola with hair. Nearly. Yeah, hybrid.
Well, no, let's get cracking. Let's get into it. So we haven't got much going on except reading up the latest football news, have we? There's no games, there's nothing. So we're trying to keep up with what the latest is. And if we go with what the rumor mill is saying, we are gonna sign Sancho, Martinez, Telles, Chilwell. Who else?
Nick Pope, Dean Henderson, Donnarumma, Onana,
Coutinho.
Oh my God.
On the way. We've got about 15-man squad on the way, lads.
Eunice, I'm having flashbacks to Daily Blues and my nervous mate breakdowns. Please make it stop, please. Please. Oh my God, I can't deal with. I actually avoid Twitter now. I put my tweet out and I put my phone down. That's how I live my life.
I can tell by the way you write your tweets.
It's
like an in-out.
Yeah, that's it. I put a full stop at the end to reinforce I'm not talking to any of you, except if you're nice to me and I'll actually have a conversation then. But it's everyone just going in talking about the stuff. I really like that manhandled guy because he's like someone I've been watching a lot, and he's like literally it's like he's so constructed in how he makes his arguments, and it's not a case of we're going to sign everybody. Let's talk about everyone on the rumour mill. It's like. It's just redundant when you see people saying, we should sign this person. Or my favourite one was that Dennis Wise video the other day when people are like, football's moved on from that. Nobody puts in tackles like that anymore. I'm like, you clearly don't watch fucking football then, do you? It's like, it does my head in.
Yeah, have you seen that Dennis Wise video?
I've seen the Dennis Wise video of him giving a halftime team talk to the under-17s. Yeah. It's pretty hilarious.
That is the reality. I don't get why some people are offended. Like, if you're in a changing room and you're playing football, if you've ever played football in your life, that's the truth.
Yeah, especially like all football changing rooms would be like that. But like, any like lower league football like clubs as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure you get Guardiola saying much of that at half time that for City, but they used to have Delph for that apparently. But it's not. I don't know, man.
I love that.
I thought it was hilarious, mate. I thought it was hilarious.
It's him. See him? He's disrespecting you. I'm like, oh my God. He's He sounds like a London gangster, doesn't he?
See if he tries
But-
that flip flap.
Yeah.
Tries that again.
Guy Ritchie's just sat in the corner taking notes for his next script. He's like, what's to do next?
Mate, if you get offended by that, you have to have a word for yourself. He's just given. It's not even like he's part of the setup. He's like a guest halftime team talk. I don't know.
Well, he did that with me. I played a six-a-side with Slash Football like 3 years ago, and I was supposed to be the coach on the sideline because I'm shit at football. And he's playing, he's going to fucking everyone, right, do this, do that. Yeah, you need to do this. And I'm literally sat there going, okay. He's literally like, you don't know what to say.
Do what he says.
What's crazy though is he is the nicest guy.
Yeah, he
Is
is.
he?
You've met him, yeah. He's the nicest. Like you know, really, really down to earth, humble. But football's football, and if you're in the dressing room, that is where your mask comes off.
Yeah.
You know, that's the truth of the situation. But yeah, snowflakes nowadays, eh? What can you do? What
Comment section.
yeah. With the latest that's going on, let's try and break things down a little bit because we've established that, you know, a lot of crap is being said, right? Like the Coutinho rumor. It came out yesterday that Barca haven't received any contact for Coutinho whatsoever, and then Sport. I don't know what country they're from, by the way,
Spain.
but it's Spanish.
Are they? Are they Spanish?
They came out and said, Chelsea, advanced stages. It's happening.
Yeah, but it's the thing. It's like the middle ground of no official approaches because the club. I mean, I'm 100% with you, but like to play devil's advocate for a situation. Obviously, everything's going to be exacerbated in this time as well. In a time of like lockdown, health crisis, you know, you're not going to be able to see truth anywhere. But you know, it might be in a club's interest to say there's been no formal approach because either they're trying to provoke a formal approach or they're just trying to bat away media stories or whatever, or it's like just nonsense from journos, or it's an agent saying one thing to some, you know, it can be literally everything from so far removed from a formal approach for an inquiry. You know, you just got to see what the reputable journalists are saying at the end of the day. That's probably, I guess, not Sport, I suppose, or, you know, these ones in between. But it's difficult, man. It's very, very difficult.
It is with all the names that we mentioned just about 5 minutes ago. Who's your cup of tea? Who would you turn around and go, yeah, you know what, I'd have him?
Well, for me, it's not so much who. Well, okay, there's two answers to that question. I see what Louis is saying in a sec, but obviously problem positions for Chelsea, and I think everyone would argue it's a left back and maybe a striker. Left back to offer what Reece James offers at right back, and a striker to help finish off the chances. Problem position not being a right winger. But in terms of, I fancy him, which was the original question, the answer to that would be Jadon Sancho, because you'd want him at Chelsea, but he's not a problem position. You know, I say this in my videos that Man United, they've had a problem at right wing for years now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he is the problem position. He's like a combination of the two, problem position and I fancy a bit of that. But yeah, Louis.
I've literally just drawn out the lineup so I can look at it in my head. This was what me and Eunice used to do for 2 hours on a call with people watching all the time, like 3 years ago. Yeah. And I disagree that I feel that winger isn't a problem position because you've got Willian who's running out of contract and you've got Pedro who's running out of contract. You've got one coming in ZiyEch. You've got Hudson-Odoi who does have problems with injuries this year, and he's slow. He's a slow progress, but that's because of an Achilles injury. I don't think it's worth rushing him. Really, outside of that, you've got Pulisic as well, but it's not really a lot going on.
Just to cut you really quickly, with the crisis that's going on at the moment, is it safe to say that everyone's injury-free now?
I think so, yeah. Well, Hudson-Odoi's come out and said it. Yeah, they all said they're injury-free. It's about match fitness.
It's just match fitness. No one's match fit.
It's big. It's a big one, man, match fitness. Like a lot of European clubs, they want 3 weeks. They want a 3-week pre-season again, basically. They've been saying they're like governing bodies. Yeah, I dig what you're saying about the wingers. Obviously, Mount actually played quite well on the left wing when he was deployed out there pressing, so he could be the fourth. But I still think Chelsea will bring in a winger. It just not.
You reckon?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's a problem position, but I think they'll have a backup. So Mount can be the fourth winger, or Tino Anjorin can play in the front three, or they can get a buyback clause on Jeremy Boga for like 12 million. or they can find another cheap winger. I just don't think it's a problem position. Like, we need someone like Tellez's level. We need, they don't need the same level of winger as they do a striker or a left back.
I'd say, I mean, looking at it, so I left back. Obviously, Tellez is the first choice for a lot of people. I like him. I can't say I've seen a lot of him, so I'm going with what I know, and I like Ben Chilwell. Obviously, financially, 80 million versus what the 25 is being touted for, by PSG to sign Alex Tellez. You probably look at Alex Tellez. He's a solid player. He's been doing it consistently. Wouldn't exactly say no to him. I think. It's again, I think in terms of the winger situation where we're saying find someone. Did you see the story today that apparently Jorginho wants to go to Juve and Bernardeschi would be part of a return deal, which, by the way, I called like 3 months ago and people called me stupid. Boom, I dropped it.
All right, well, let me just reply to stupid quickly.
Yeah, because I was going to as well.
Yeah. No, but I haven't listened to the story close enough. But Bernardeschi is a quality player. Yeah, I mean, sorry, you'd imagine he'd take his boy back. Even if Jorginho says he'd love Chelsea, he'd probably see, Billy Gilmour dropping madness. He's probably seen Kovacic deputising in that role. If it's Juventus, innit? Like a few years ago when he's like 24 playing for Napoli, if he told Jorginho, look, you're gonna do wicked for Napoli, go over to England, right? Face adversity, learn English, have a baby girl, win the fans over, win the Europa League, have a wicked time, and then get sold for even more money to Juventus, the biggest club in Italy, who you're losing the title to right now. But you know what? It's going to be Sarri's there. He'll be there as well, your boy. He'll probably think, boy, what a journey. I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? So I think even if he does like Chelsea, I think that could happen.
I mean, apparently, sorry, because I read like just before we went on, just before we started this, his agent spoke, and did say that there hasn't been any contact for the player. Again, yeah. Devil's advocate, agent's advocate. He said there hasn't been any contact for the player, and right now he's really happy. We're really happy to even start negotiating an extension to the contract if need be.
Chelsea, yeah?
Yeah.
I was having this conversation on Londoners Blue over the weekend. I suggest people check it out as well because it's actually a really good conversation. And we were talking about two players we get rid of. Barkley obviously came up straight away, which was that's done. No, Barkley.
Oh, Barkley.
People spoke about Kante, but this is where the Kante discussion comes in.
Yeah.
So,
coach.
I said I'd sell Jorginho because right now he is very specialist, and unfortunately, when we play in a certain way, he can't tackle. He doesn't really get the cover in the system we're playing. And when people talk about, he's got a great passing range, you've got players like Fabinho and Rodri at top clubs who have a similar passing range. If I'm honest, they're quite good at it and they can tackle in that deep line position. So really, you want to look at potentially either drop into a 2 sit-in with a box-to-box and a 10, or you want to look at someone who can fulfill that entire role. We've seen Billy Gilmour can do it. I'm not going to bring him into the conversation because he's 18.
I was going to say,
I'll go full Twitter.
Fabinho, did you know Fabinho has gone back to League One? Because Billy Gilmour sent him back there in the FA Cup. And
no, but I would say, like, so you could say, like, right, Kante has had a lot of injuries this season. This is going to be people are going to hate me. He's had a lot of injuries, not because he's been played out of position, but because he's been playing such a high intensity at his traditional position further forward. It's had an impact on how he can play. People say he can't play that lone DM. He does it for France. He does. You've got Blaise Matuidi as a box-to-box, and you've got Popper in front of him who's in a free run. If you look at it that way...
He doesn't really play that for France, though, because the way Chelsea play, that the number 6 has to recycle possession quickly. It's not sorry, but it's still the same thing. To put him there, to have take the ball, release the ball, it's a waste of his attributes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, this is where you'd say, okay, you probably want to look at the formation again. Again, if you were to drop the two defensive midfielders, who do you play, Kovacic or Jorginho right now? Well, I think we could almost have a question ourselves.
This this is the problem with Kante, is because in order to, well, my opinion, in order to allow him to get the best out of himself, you need to change the whole formation, and that would mean having less midfielders on the pitch, because in a pivot, that's his known and best position. But that would mean him playing alongside someone who's sitting deep as well, and then having one midfielder in front, and we've got an abundance of midfielders to choose from.
The thing is, just while I've got this in my head with Kante. So the thing is, if you want to see the best of N'Golo Kante, like vintage Premier League N'Golo Kante, Leicester, and Antonio Conte, that's what we all know him for, right? That's what that's what we're talking about when we talk about the best Kante. We're talking about Leicester, Ranieri, Chelsea, Conte. Now, the two midfielders, Leicester played without the ball, firstly, completely. So he was mopping up. He was playing without the ball. So off the bat, no matter who's managing Chelsea, Sarri, Frank, or indeed if we got a new manager tomorrow, Chelsea would want to play with the ball. Fine, you can make the argument Conte played a little bit more with the ball. But still, the way Conte plays is so different with those wing-backs, how they always retain possession, the wing-backs. And then it was Matic and Kante. It wasn't like a give and go. It was Matic and Kante mopping up together spaces. It would be completely different. So what I'm alluding to here is when Frank Lampard wants to play his 3-4-3, he likes playing a back three system. Even though Kante might be better suited to that midfield too, it still won't be the same as Ranieri or Conte's midfield duo. So people need to be prepared that they won't see that same magic as they did. Sure, they might see clutch moments where he just runs, recovers the ball, passes to himself, or even just turns over possession high up the pitch. New Kante, you'll see brilliant moments. I just fear that people need to accept that these like amazing moments from Kante were, I don't want to say due to the systems because he was amazing, but like they enhanced what he did. They were his teams, and we won't be able to see that with this current Chelsea, regardless.
I agree. However, again, devil's advocate, if you play Kovacic next to him, you've got that person who can mop up as well as.
It's not personnel though; it's style of football.
Yeah, no, it is. But this is what I'm saying. So it's like almost the way we're playing. So I've written it out here. I don't know if you can see it. So on there, you've got the DM. I can't actually see it, it's backwards. So you've got the DM here. Yeah. One of these centre mids would drop in almost and be that person who can help mop up in front. But as well as that, they're the person who be part of going forward. They are part of that attacking group who moves box to box. And obviously, when you're looking at the way we play, you kind of do. The fullbacks do like to bomb forward, but at the same time, when we are a bit more defensive, you have Aspilicueta, for example, who tucks in. So if you tuck in, you've then got the cover of a 4, and you've got another 4 going forward.
Are you suggesting that should be Kante? Sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm suggesting Kante be the one that would sit and mop. That's what he can do. And then you have the person next to him who can recycle. The difference with this is why I'm saying Kante over Jorginho. Both of them are 29, but Kante has the necessary attributes to deal with what one of our biggest problems is, which is we cannot defend for shit. Let's be brutally honest. That's the situation, and that needs to change. And I'm not Frank. I'm not going to sit here and say this is what we need to do because I did that for the past 4 years, and I look stupid doing it because I'm not the manager. So it's one of those where it's like it's just something I thought about where I'm like, what if we tried that? The other thing, because we're talking about the bunch of midfielders and talking about wingers as well, and I had this thought. What about Loftus-Cheek out wide? Because we haven't even spoken about him yet.
No, okay. No. I've got to stop him. He's going on a mad one.
Go on.
Okay. Kante can't sit because he's a destroyer. He's a roamer. He's an interceptor. Just planting him in front of a back 4, for me, it can't be done. And then you have the recycling pivot on the left, and it's lopsided. For me, it doesn't work. You need someone who can recycle possession, and Kante needs to run around putting out fires. He's a destroyer. So that's why I wouldn't have him in the lone role. And don't come at me with this Ruben Loftus-Cheek on the wing nonsense. We've seen him. Right, okay. We've seen him play on the right wing. Okay. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is like one of the best 8s we have. Not a number 10, not a second striker, a left central midfielder, number 8, who can pick up the ball, drive from deep, bulldoze through people, combine. He's that amazing clip of him taking the ball up pitch where he just turns his back and beats that guy up, or he does like a Maradona roll, or he does that flick on, occupying the left-hand space in that channel, just carrying the ball with his brute force and aggression, and he can still curl on top right. I wouldn't put him on the wing. He can't dribble or cut in like that, but he can just absolutely pile drive from midfield, and it's a completely different dynamic than like none of our midfielders can do it. None of them, and he can do that. And I think we wouldn't want to jeopardise that by putting him in Hakim Ziyech's place on the right wing.
Okay, so by that logic, if this is the field I'd make with that, because I agree. I was just putting it out there. Don't hurt me.
That's why he's the judge. I was just putting it out there.
This is a safe space.
Yeah.
What would be your ideal three then?
I was just about to ask that. Who would your midfield three be in this case? If we stuck with a 4-3-3, one as a deep lying, I don't know, regista, playmaker, whatever you want to call it, because there's too many names now. And then there's two centre mids in front. Right? Who would your three be?
So like a 6 and 2 8s. Obviously, I think all of us would, firstly, before we choose players, we'd all agree that horses for courses, wouldn't we? Like, we've got loads of good midfielders, and you could select a midfield for the opposition, couldn't you? Like, you could have a midfield, like, if we're like going to be against the low block, you're like, right, we'll get Mason Mount in there, we'll get Billy Gilmore in there, and we'll get Ruben Loftus-Cheek in there. Two attacking number 8s and a nimble, fast recycling possession, Billy Gilmore. Do you know what I mean? But if you're playing Liverpool in the Super Cup, you probably look at, like, obviously Jorginho, Kante, and Kovacic looks amazing. I'm not saying, we definitely play, do we just play for... Can you swear in this, Younes?
Go for it.
Can you just fucking play Billy Gilmore regardless? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're playing him, if we're going with form, like, who's got the bollocks to drop Billy Gilmore at the moment? Do you know what I mean? Like, like, we can't forget, like, 2 consecutive man of the match performances and just changed how it made Ross Barkley look like a Super Saiyan. Do you know what I mean? Like, this so, and like, I'm not cussing Ross Barkley. Like, he might surprise more and more people. But I reckon Gilmore. Okay, so if I had to do like a big game and I was like on form, big game, Loftus-Cheek goes against the on form, so I'm kind of like breaking my own rules. But I'd go Gilmore, Kovacic on the right, Loftus-Cheek on the left.
So you would have, before I come to you, Louis. So Jorginho and Kante are not playing.
No.
See, I said big names would miss out. Louis, who's yours?
I'm going 4-2-3-1. It's a
He's
big
just
game.
changed the system.
It's like I'd go.
Who would you go as the 2 and then the midfield in front?
You see, I think because me and Jan are very different on how we mentally like to play football. I'm trying to put myself in Frank Lampard's position. He'd probably go with what Jan suggested, but I'm a Chelsea manager, and I'm the best manager around at the minute. So I'm in high demand. So I'd have Kante, Kovacic, and Loftus-Cheek because you'd have that robust in midfield. But that's just how I like to play.
Who are you playing?
You'd have Loftus-Cheek in front.
Yeah, as number 10.
I'd have Loftus-Cheek, or it'd be a 10 almost. I'd say almost Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic are almost interchangeable. That's the thing. It's like the problem you have with Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic is they're so similar.
Louis, you're going to create a complete new tactic that football's never seen before.
Mate, I'm not having it. He's just told me Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic are similar.
They are quite similar.
What? No, Loftus-Cheek is a tank who drives forward and scores goals. Kovacic is a dribbler and ball progressor who's like passes and gets the ball out.
Do you know what? He is, but I've also got a lasagna, so I don't care what you're saying.
Right. What about you, Younes? Are you going to put Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the number 10?
I'm not in a 10, but I said it on my last video. I would really put Loftus-Cheek on the pitch, and that midfielders are going to miss out. I did entertain the idea of having. It's tough because I did entertain the idea of having Kante a bit deeper just to protect him because of his injuries. I had that. I mentioned it. Yeah. At the same time, if no, I did also say, don't get carried away. I did also say, if he is back at 100% and his body is fully healed and he can run the miles again without actually getting injured, then he can play where he has been playing under Lampard and under Sarri. So
he's good at times.
it would be a case of, in that case, having Jorginho, Kante, Loftus-Cheek, but then Kovacic is missing, or having Kante deep and having Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek together in a slightly more offensive role. But this is the issue. We've got Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante, Billy Gilmore, Mason Mount, Barkley. Did I say Loftus-Cheek?
I don't know. I don't think so. There's a lot. There's a lot
of midfielders.
Or you can like.
Should we say that do you want the easiest way to break this down is to how you have that conversation about the midfielders is who you get rid of?
Yeah, it would. Who would you? Well, I mean, I know who you're both going to say, but who would you get rid
of?
Barkley, even though he is a beast on the side.
I wouldn't get rid of Barkley.
You wouldn't.
No, I think he's if he's prepared to not start generally probably not start Premier League games and like shine in these cup games and then maybe come in and deputise for an injury crisis. I think he's a wicked squad player.
So, are you going to annoy loads of people that are so academy driven, and you're going to get rid of Mason Mount?
We have to get rid of someone, don't we?
Who would you get rid of?
All right, hold on. This game's bullshit. All right. Well, okay. Maybe Jorginho because we can make loads of money on him because of the money.
Fair point. Okay.
Because of the money. Because Kovacic can play as that recycling role, passing, and he can stick it and tackle. Billy Gilmore can. We've got, and then obviously, I know people talk about Conor Gallagher, but I think Tino Andrin's next off the conveyor belt to get in the first team but he's an attacking mid.
Gallagher needs a loan spell in the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think Tino can come straight in because he's built for it. And he looks good, and he can rotate in. He can play a few minutes, Tino, but Gallagher can start for a Premier League team. And yeah, I guess Jorginho because he could make 60-odd million, and then
we won't miss him, to be honest. Even if he did, we would have players. It's
we'd have players. We'd have players. You'll get people on Twitter if we have a bad game where we're not controlling the midfield.
Shut up! Stop talking about Twitter. Stop talking about Twitter.
All right, so.
It's the worst platform on the internet. I don't care. I hate Twitter now. I used to love it. I absolutely despise it now.
At the moment, it's got
amazing people on there, but it's like, Twitter is it's horrible now. You can't make a decent conversation or make a point without someone saying they hope you die. That's kind of just like the bottom line. If someone's like the past few days, people have been banging on about Sarri. Okay, look, he wasn't everyone's cup of tea. That's fine. So he did his job at Chelsea really, really well. Don't get me wrong. I think he did what he's asked. Top 4, win the Europa League, fantastic, well done.
Cup final.
And a cup final. Sorry, I completely forgot because it was really bad. It was an awful game, and I wanted to cry afterwards because we lost. But
I was there, mate. It was fucking weird game.
It was a weird game, but it was one of those where it's like, look, there are lots of different opinions on it, but like. He didn't fit at that time. And without Sarri, you don't get Frank. We've now got a young manager who talks about the club and loves it, who's brought through youth players, which everyone was moaning about for the past 3 years, who's actually over-exceeded everyone's expectations. Yeah. You can't say you expect us to win the league. And then people are still talking about how he's shit. All saying, let's bang on about Sarri. Sarri's doing a decent job at Juventus.
You know what's so funny about this?
Juventus fans won't say that.
No, they wouldn't. Exactly. Which is what I was going to get on to next.
Hold on. Can I just...
Hang on. Hate him.
This makes me laugh so much. I'm not laughing at what Louis said because I agree with what he's saying about
it.
Yeah. But what's really funny is he started that rant of... how he hates Twitter so much because people just start talking about Sarri, and then he went on to just really talk about Sarri for about 5 minutes in like loads of detail about what's happened. He's done exactly what Twitter's done. Now he's shepherding his dog out.
His dog went off on one. You heard him say sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck sorry, boo. So yeah, apart from and he's a massive dickhead.
Sorry about that. My dog's just going to check someone from Sarri Twitter out of my garden.
Yeah, that's what Yeah. No, I agree. Obviously, whatever. It's either kids going off about that, or it's what was I see today? Why Didier Drogba is the Premier League's biggest fraud? a thread.
Oh, I saw that. Oh my god.
I didn't even read it. I was just it's a 17-year-old just trying to like begging for retweets. But
I guarantee someone who thinks like, I don't know, that Harry Kane's more prolific than Didier Drogba was or something. I don't know.
Well, like, which is obviously moot point anyway, because it's what the player was as a player and what he gave to the team.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing as like, every single day there's a new player that someone's trying to benchmark against Eden Hazard, and it's just, this is what Twitter is now.
I'm just going to enjoy my lasagna during this conversation because I don't want to fucking hear it. It's doing my nothing.
All right, but when football does eventually return, that's probably a good subject to talk about. Actually, I don't know if you mind me hijacking this, Eunice, for a moment, but I wanted to ask your opinion on something.
All yours.
All right, cool. So this is something I incidentally tweeted out on Twitter, a social media platform.
He's going to hang himself. Go on.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about because I think we'll all be in agreement that if and when this season does resume, it's looking likely it will because of like financial ramifications if it doesn't. So because the Premier League, billions, it needs to be concluded. It will be behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Regardless. And indeed, to be honest, like the beginning of next season is likely to be behind closed doors as well. So taking all that into consideration, I studied like music and sound production and stuff, and so I know a lot like about Foley, sound production and post-production and all that. And I was thinking, is there a way we can actually add something beneficial to the atmosphere of games behind closed doors? Because there's nothing more like harrowing than the sound of a football being kicked flood in an empty stadium with like Aspe, and then like they score, and like it's just eerie and like peculiar, and it just makes.
Sorry, since when did Frank Lampard have a lisp? What was that?
That was Kovacic putting on a Cockney accent. Anyway, so so I was like, right, what do they do? Can they play ambient like crowd sounds? Can they do it in the stadium? Can they do it in post-production? I was thinking post-production, like before it goes to your screen, add some sort of sounds, whether it's like music or like some sort of crowds. It will sound really, really non-diegetic, which is the term that basically says it doesn't, like, Bane's voice in Batman, like, oh, that was very, very painful, I'm Bane. Everyone hated the Bane voice because it was non-diegetic. It didn't sound like it was in the scene. It sounded like it was overlaid. So obviously you could have the Bane problem with the crowd. I'm fucking losing my mind here. I'm talking about Bane in the football crowds. But you don't want Bane in the football stadium. Do you see what I mean, Eunice?
I think that'd be great commentary. Yeah, that's really better.
Why is Aspi like the player of the moment? Oh, Spilicueta's just scored perfect hat trick. He's got his penis out.
Get Bane to say Dave. Nah. I think we could just ask, what club was it that used speakers? Was it City or Liverpool?
Oh, no, I think that's just a thing. I think a few clubs do it.
We could just ask them. Like, hey, what system do you use, lads?
Yeah.
No. Game at Wembley, they had that drum, which made no sense when they played it.
Oh, that was dreadful.
Oh, yeah, hold on. No, what about, like, just general, like, sort of like ultra percussion?
Well, wait, is this going to be like Sunderland Till I Die, where the guy goes, let's turn this into a club? Like,
imagine the other person. Imagine the scenes though. If there was like proper tribal drummings, you could have like Pulisic like giving it some like the samba dancing. See, this suddenly, come on, we've created something here. From a dead Sunday League game that's on like BT Sports to a tribal like samba goal celebration with drums.
Oh my God.
Mate, I'm glad you're recording this, mate.
I'm now sat here thinking of that Sunderland Till I Die thing. Shut up, dog! I'm looking at Sunderland Till I Die thing where he's there like that, and he goes, yeah, but you need to get a better system for that. And he pauses it, and it goes full office, and David Brent, they just zoom in on his face. I'm like, going, what is going on there?
That guy is fucking David Brent, isn't he?
Charlie Mefflin, he's quality. I don't care.
He's so accidentally Brent.
It was when he said, yeah, some people say that, Sunderland's a shithole, but, it's really quite nice. So I've now got the image going, Slough.
Yeah.
Reading. Let's go to all these places.
Some may say that, I don't know what I'm doing spending 40 million on Will Grigg, but, running a football club, sometimes I just want to get my player. I just want to get my player. Like, what, he's losing his mind. He's no idea what he's doing, and he's like people around him is like, he's losing his mind, mate.
It's when they went 4 million for Will Grigg, and you just all go, sorry, what? you got the commander just going, what the fuck are you on? It's like it's not something which is like it just makes no sense.
Me on Football Manager, mate.
Oh man, no. Well, I mean, with the whole sound thing, right?
Yeah, go on.
I think it's a good opportunity to just not have any sounds and watch Premier League football like you would watch a Sunday League game, because that's never come back again.
Yeah, but Sunday League's wicked watching it like that. But have you watched? I watched the Champions League game, Inter's Champions League game behind closed doors. Champions League, man, like the sort of the feels. Do you know what I mean? Like the epic. And I literally couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. I would much rather watch Louis' team play. Like,
sorry. What do you mean? I'd rather watch Louis' team play.
The Champions League game, Louis.
Yeah, but you don't need to. I'm not too, Pat. There's no need for the fucking drive-by. What's going on there?
I'll just put you above a Champions League game.
No, I didn't expect you to put above a Champions League game. It's like watching a Sunday League game rather than watching Louis' fucking team. Just fucking
backhanded compliment.
Oh no! I'll tell you who's going to get a fucking backhand when I see him, and it ain't fucking. Wait, that makes no sense. I'm going to let the dog in.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine. Imagine they done ambient sounds, like crowd noises.
Yeah.
And then the camera pans to the crowd, and there's no one there except empty seats.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. That would I've heard people do worse. They'd have to absolutely not pan to empty seats. Like there would have to be like, Dave, you have one job. We're fucking playing. We're fucking playing crowd sounds. Why? Oh, it's his last day. He's on half pay. He's been a dick. But yeah, so that would be a problem. But, did you? Who was it? I think it might be. I don't know if it's Borussia Mönchengladbach, or I heard that they were thinking of doing it, or another team, or they were thinking of doing a thing for season ticket holders that when they do start the game behind closed doors, you can pay a certain amount of money. That doesn't go to the club; it goes to charity for whatever, health thing. And in their seats, they get like a cutout of them, or a cutout with their face in the seats.
Oh wow!
Quite literally cardboard cutouts, but that would be so weird.
That would be kind of worse.
Yeah, imagine just panning to all these fake. I look like a fucking thriller movie.
It's what City do every week, so I think it makes perfect sense.
Drum kit falls over. Yeah,
that would be hilarious.
The thing is, I genuinely feel I completely understand where you're coming from, Younes. But from my perspective, all I've got fermented in my brain is me getting really excited to watch the Champions League game. Midweek, I had a beer, I had some food, I was like, I'm watching Inter, and I was literally 20 minutes in, this is bullshit. Do you know what I mean? I just it's like it was almost like they were filming a train. It's like they're filming a training session. There you go. It's not even because it's Sunday League. People are cheering.
But basically what Jan's saying is, I've got a music degree. The pair of your opinions are fucking redundant. Put some sound in.
No, I'm not even saying there's an answer. I'm not even saying there's an answer. I'm just saying it's like watching a training session, but worse. Because at least with a training session, it's a fucking training session. It's a recorded training session. You're like, oh, what are they doing? But with this, it's like the champions or the Premier League, and you're all jacked up, and there's just a few people jogging about, kicking the ball, and it's so underwhelming.
No, you know what? I think it's something that you can get used to.
Yeah, maybe.
Because if you look at wrestling, they had to start performing in front of a little empty, in the performance center. So there's I don't know, maybe 500 capacity venue, but it's a training facility. But there's no one there, and then with time, it's something that people just stop complaining about, and they just
maybe. But I think with football, it's a. I mean, wrestling is a different sport, or live performance or whatever, entertainment. Yeah. But we've got a lifetime of conditioning with football as well, and I don't know, man. Maybe there'd probably be an inevitable amount of getting used to it, regardless. But in terms of it being so underwhelming when it starts, and to just try and add something auditory to add to it, they've got in this day and age of technology, even if it's not like playing Chelsea chants or You know, I can't imagine them to like record the Willian channel and play it for that. But like just something to have some sort of ambience. So when you can hear the ball being kicked, and it's just like a training session. I don't know, man.
I'd love to hear the players and the manager saying what they would normally say in a normal game. I'd love to hear that.
If the games could be played, I think legally because of Ofcom, they'd have to be played after 9 p.m. If you wanted to hear that.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's true.
Point.
That's true because they will swear. They absolutely will. And you're right, Eunice. It is interesting. I found it interesting to hear just the Italian players shout each other. But again, after one, maybe 2 games, you'll be done. You'll be like, all right, I know they're saying Kante never shouts. And Tammy is getting annoyed quite a lot. And you after 5, 10, 20 minutes, you've got it dialed in your head. After 2 games, you're like, right, I've enjoyed this different spectacle training session. It is a training session. Even if there's lots of riding on it, it looks and feels like a train. I know that sounds like I'm being like hyperbolic or whatever, and maybe I am, but that's how literally I felt when I watched this Champions League game. I literally I want to turn it off. I don't care if there's going to be a goal. And I think I saw a goal. I saw a goal. When you see a goal in one of these training live experiences, they just go, "Way!" They jog over and have a hug, and you're like, "Oh look, he scored a goal." Nothing is happening. Nothing.
You just hear it hit the net, and that's it.
Yeah, but exactly. And then, do you know the worst thing about this is, right? That obviously as a spectacle it sucks, but when you see football like that, it makes you question why you love it so much. You're like, wow, I'm a loser. Like I'm losing my nut over this little moment that I've just witnessed, and it means nothing. It's because of the crowd that you enjoy football. But when I saw Lukaku score a goal, and I was like, yeah. Granted, it's not Chelsea scoring an important goal or anything, but even though players are celebrated quite half-fastly, like chilled, no one cheering, and then it makes you feel like, oh, it's just football. He just kicked a ball in the net, and it's like the spell suddenly temporarily lifts off you. Do you know what I mean?
That's your fault for watching a shit game. I watched the Atalanta Valencia one, and I fucking loved that. That was brilliant.
Behind closed doors as well.
Yeah, that was behind closed doors. I think it was like 7-6 or something stupid like that. It was an unreal game of football.
It's like a training game for different reasons. But
to be fair, it would be interesting to see Chelsea play without a crowd because pressure and that.
Yeah, I mean they do it at home most weeks. I'm gonna be honest, lads. Our atmosphere is shit. It doesn't really make a difference. You've got select part. Matthew Harding, where I'm sat, we're pretty good. Shed, you're pretty good.
Shed is good.
Family Stand in a big game, it's good. It's all right. West Stand may as well not fucking be there.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's like you sat there and they're like, yes, bloody great show, well done, great.
I do enjoy the view up there, though. I do enjoy the view.
Fantastic.
I enjoy that view. It's a great view, but I'm literally sat there wanting to sing a song and I can't, and I'm sat there like.
Yeah,
anyone that does gets looked at. Like, what you thought?
No, I've taken my mate sorts me out seats right in the middle of the West Lower. No. So right in the middle of the West Lower top. It's literally like perfect viewing, like right on the halfway line. It's just high enough so you can see everything as well. So it's a really, really good seat. And he often gives me a ticket and someone else. Either I take a mate or it's a random that he knows. And I remember I was there with some old boy. I don't know. He's got to be like 50s, proper old school Chelsea. Little bit of a geezer, but he loves ska music, early 50s. Like, yeah, let's go. Chelsea used to go Chelsea away and let's do ska pies all the time. And I was singing, he's singing. I only just met the geezer. I haven't even had a drink together, and then everyone was looking at us and we're like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't stop because
me and Chelsea were sat there for the Chelsea Harper. For those of you who don't know, Chelsea Echo. She's a fantastic writer. So I just look at her stuff and follow her on Twitter. But we were sat there watching the Bayern Munich game. And obviously that wasn't a great game in terms of how we performed. It just showed what level we're at currently. But it was such an eclectic mix of people that it's like you had it was all there was loads of different types of fans. I saw a Valencia shirt. I saw a Bayern Munich fan get ejected twice, by the way. It's stuff like that where it's like if we need to we can. Right now, we're saying you want fans to the ground. And what I did say was incredibly harsh, where I said we do play in front of an Stadium a lot of the time. But we have to admit, our atmosphere really isn't that great.
It's not great.
It's not great at all. So it's like, I mean, you still get the pressure of playing a big game. They're not going to sit there and think it's a training game. If there's 3 points running on it for a European place, there's 3 points running on a European place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the best option is something that was put forward. We just carpet bomb Birmingham because no one will miss it, and then have all the games played in the Midlands. There you go, done, sorted, move on.
Don't know about that. Another thing about, you saying Valencia shirts. I went to the semi-final Europa League Frankfurt last season. I was in the West Stand again. Absolutely riddled with Frankfurt fans.
I remember you texted. You both texted me because I was at the FBA's because I was nominated for a second award. Sorry, so just pick that up. No, I was at the FBA's. And I remember watching the game, and I remember I think you texted me, Yang.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
You definitely texted me, Eunice, going, "Oh my God, it is packed with Frankfurt fans."
Yeah, everywhere. They started as Frankfurt scored, and in the end, they started or whatever. They started cropping up everywhere, and then the penalty shootout, they were all being known. And at the very end, there's a few proper old school Chelsea, season ticket my whole life, kicking off at the stewards that they were in there. But it was a little bit whatever, mate, just get over it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And the penalty shootout after Chelsea won, everyone great, whatever. But then the Frankfurt players are obviously what an amazing European campaign for them they had. They're going around applauding the fans, and then all the fans just start doing the Frankfurt song in German, and they're everywhere. At that point, you're right, have your fun, whatever, do one. We've gone through. I'm out of here, mate, sort of thing. Yeah. It was a little bit Jesus Christ, so many Chelsea fans selling their tickets and seats to Germans everywhere. Yeah,
it's crazy how that all goes down, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the atmosphere's not as good as it has been. It still can get rocking though, Stamford Bridge, for the right occasion.
When it matters, people do.
Chelsea, Tottenham. You can have it rocking, and you compare that to the Etihad and the Emirates. Obviously Chelsea's smaller. It's smaller stadiums. It's easier to get a good atmosphere. You can get it at the right time, but with I also went, what was it? The Grimsby game, right? Then when we won 7-1, Breach James scored, Hudson-Odoi scored. It was a bloody lovely time. That Grimsby, when they have the whole of the shed, don't they? They get the whole of the shed. And they're roaring, they're 6,000 ultras. Not a few hundred. They were absolutely insane, all off their tits as well, and all sorts, because it's a massive day out for them. And they were just the whole time chanting about Chelsea's naff atmosphere. But at the same time, I was thinking, this is a midweek game, late in the evening, a school night. Tickets cost £15, where families and tourists are just coming. So none of the proper Chelsea are going to be there because it's Grimsby Grimsby in a cup midweek sort of thing. So none of the and then it is going to be all these foreigners and kids who can afford £15 tickets. And suddenly, but in terms of the Grimsby fans, it was all the army of their ultras, and they're like, "Is this all you've got?" And I was like, "Yes, mate, you're fucking Grimsby, and it's a Wednesday." You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? What do you expect? So yeah,
you're not important.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
Well, quick one before we end. What would you do in terms of the season? Null, void, or play it at some point down the line, closed doors?
I'd like it to just end and be null and void. I'd like it to be null. My selfish Chelsea fan would be null and void. So it would be we're still third, we're still holders of the Europa League. Liverpool don't win the league. No one wins the league. United aren't in the Champions League. Arsenal aren't in the Champions League. That's hilarious. So Sancho won't go to United and all this kind of stuff on top. But my football head, reporter, whatever, has to say, well, of course it has to be concluded because of the financial ramifications. People would be more willing to sacrifice next season, a whole season, rather than play out for this last 25% of the season. Because why sacrifice something that you played 75% for? Do you know what I mean? So it's always almost pay this 25% throughout the whole of next season. That would be preferable for the integrity of the competition, maybe not the finances and commercial side. So it has to be concluded. Yeah, that's me. What are you saying, Lou?
I would null and void it, but then you'd have to do that throughout the entirety of every other division as well.
Exactly.
And the problem with that is the EFL and the Premier League aren't best buddies. And unfortunately, there is a lot of internal politics, which is just ridiculous. Having seen it firsthand when I've been in when I was at uni, you'd see like really mad shit going on in a bloody cafe. I saw the England squad get selected. It was mad. I saw the England squad get selected, and it was like I thought it was taking the piss because it was like I was sat doing my coursework, and there was 3 guys in suits, and it wasn't even Gareth Southgate saying what they think their England squad would be, and I was listening because I thought it was an interesting conversation. And it was something where it was like, oh, we do this, we do this, we do this. And I thought it was just like what we're doing when we were talking about Chelsea 11 earlier. It was then the actual England squad the following week. So it's stuff like that where it's like there's ridiculous stuff going on. But I mean, that's the FA. But it's sort of like you see sort of like I think the thing I saw which was quite interesting, which I would consider, is you wouldn't relegate anybody. But the teams which were in automatic promotion positions, promotion positions, I would send up. And then you basically say, this season, I wouldn't completely null and void it. I'd say, right, this is as it stands right now. Liverpool, as much as I hate to say it, there you go. There's your trophy. Congratulations. People will take the piss because it wasn't a full Premier League. That works perfectly for me. I don't, I'd take that.
It's going to have an asterisk on regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so it's one of those.
absolutely.
And then next season it'd be a brand new season. Yes, there'd be 22 teams in the division. That's when you go, okay, 5 are going to get relegated, 3 will come up, and then it balances back out after a year. But I think that's just what I would do. But it's not as simple as that. And obviously with the finances as well, Jan's got a music degree. I've got a football business and media degree. So let's take a seat, Jan. And
I'm joking. Jan's got a music degree. I've got a football. Singing footballs. What is about to that? Well, not fucking slag me off. Go on.
I love you, Jan. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
It's obviously the finances behind all the sponsorship deals. There would have been no clause in any of the contracts with regard to something like this happening, because in August you wouldn't have gone, or June when these are all being written up, you'd be sitting there going, right lads, there's going to be a massive pandemic in a few months. Yeah, we just need to write something in for that just in case. No one's going to have done that. So you're then already in a position of companies going to lose business. Already we are potentially on the verge of an economic crash of some description regardless.
That'll definitely happen.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at the price of oil dropping. This is very boring for some people, I know. Yes, I can have an intelligent conversation. I'm not just fucking happy and funny. I'm saying it's like, I think it's one of those where it's like, you're on the verge of an economic crash. You're going to see a lot. The problem with this is if you don't play out the season, you will see a lot of football clubs go under. And there is not the finances within the Football League or the Premier League to support that, unfortunately.
That's true.
When I say those finances aren't there, they are there. People just don't want to help. Look at Berry.
Another thing, a huge thing that you have to consider as well with sending all the players up and not relegating anyone. Sorry, teams up and not relegating anyone. So the Premier League essentially takes the load there. So there's say the playoffs don't exist. So there's 2 automatic go up. The broadcasting money, which is a lot in the Premier League, it's like phenomenal amounts, suddenly split between 2 more teams. There are teams that rely on the broadcasting money to stay afloat. Bournemouth is
alone.
Bournemouth, for example, the smallest capacity in the Premier League, they make no money through ticket revenue. They completely they're dependent on that money.
80%, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. It's an incredible amount. And they've massively been hit by the pandemic, and on top of that, you're saying, you know what, you're going to get even less because this has to be distributed with an extra 2 whole Premier League teams, stuff like that. The ramifications could be huge.
But sorry to interrupt you. This is why when people are talking about furlough, clubs like obviously people just automatically go Premier League club, a lot of money. Clubs like City, Liverpool, big clubs that have been doing it, which have the financial capacity, they're taking the piss. If a Bournemouth do it, that makes sense. Mesut Ozil, for example, not pointing fingers straight away. People are saying, wait. I actually understand why he's not taking his pay cut yet.
Yeah, because
In
he
our-
wants to know. He wants to know
Cool.
where it's going.
Cool.
because
Fair.
he wants to know where it's going. He
agree.
also puts like £250,000 a month to some kid's surgery last year.
He does a lot,
puts
charity.
food. He does a lot of charity work.
Nice.
That's what he puts his wages towards, which is why he doesn't want to take a pay cut. But it's one of those where you look at clubs like Bournemouth. The reason that they're always yo-yoing between we might get relegated to the mid-table spot is because financially they can't afford, as we're seeing with this pandemic, to push further on. Look at Stoke. Stoke were that yo-yo team. Got rid of Tony Pulis, brought in Mark Hughes, tried to be all Barcelona by signing Boyan and like bloody Martins India for a good World Cup. And he sat there and it's like, and now they've gone, shit, we need to get relegated from the Championship because they can't financially deal with it. Bournemouth have over-exceeded expectations massively. So there are clubs which are going to get hit because financially there are different elements which people aren't considering because, like Twitter, people just take everything for face value rather than looking at the conversation and going, oh shit, what's actually happened? What's actually going on? People just see a tweet, like it and carry on. It's just the way the world is now, which is disappointing because you can't actually it's tough to be constructive with a lot of people and being constructive in conversations in comparison to sensationalizing is not sexy. It's not. People don't enjoy that as much. Whereas literally we're sitting there and there's people which love what we do, especially you two, because I've not done anything for months. But it's one of those was like that you're just putting forward a conversation and it's engaging the audiences. And it's stuff like that where you can look at people need to be more inquisitive. You can't it's redundant going through life, just taking on information. It's like if you want to be the best at what you do and you want to understand what's going on and you want to have these conversations and you want to be able to,
get off Twitter.
I was just about to say.
I think Louis needs like a. I'm gonna get you like a digital therapist.
I was just about yeah.
Look. I have made a lot of friends through Twitter, through YouTube. I wouldn't know either of you if it wasn't for either of those platforms. It's stuff like that where it does do good things, but just it's stuff where people just need to look at stuff a bit more rather than just fucking go and smash their keyboard. I made that mistake. I still do it. When the PFA weren't talking about pay cuts a few weeks ago, I was smashing my keyboard saying, why aren't players doing it? But I still stand by that because it is the most redundant and overpaid union in the country. The guy who runs that union, what does he even fucking do? What does he do?
Before Louis has an aneurysm, can we wrap this up?
Sorry, you're right.
I was curious to see how far he was going to go in this one.
You've now known me for nearly 5 years. You know how far I'm going to go. I won't stop.
Exactly.
No,
to be honest, I think there's many layers, and I agree with the one point that you want to mention in terms of having constructive debate and constructive conversation, and to listen to the fact that you might just be wrong with what you're saying sometimes, and it's good to listen to others. It's not good to just think, my opinion is only, and whatever you say is absolute garbage. Like, no, you can't be like that.
There's nothing more liberating than having that lucid moment of thinking, you know what? I'm the dickhead in the room.
Yeah.
If it takes a strong person to do that, and I'm waiting for Louis to do it, and I'm
Trust me, I think your comment section are going to answer that question very quickly for you. You do a poll, I can tell you which way that's going to go.
No, honestly, you guys, thank you both for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's been a nice 58 minutes of discussion.
Damn. Can we just go for an extra 2? We'll just round it off.
No.
I'll round it off by allowing you both to explain where everyone can find you, and we'll go from there. So,
you catch Louis on his OnlyFans account.
I was thinking about doing that for a bit of content to take the piss. I might
actually
do that.
I'm going to sign out before he starts saying that shit. All right. Football therapy. That's all you got to know. You might know it anyway. Football therapy or Jan's Yard on YouTube. Go on, Lou. OnlyFans.
You could find me on my Twitter Louis underscore.
At me, babe.
And you can, I'm going to at you later. We can 1v1 me on Rust. Let's play it old school. I think, you can do that. You can find me on my Instagram as well. That's kind of where I've been more active at the minute. Obviously, I've got my YouTube channel as well, which is going to be more active in the coming weeks because I've ordered loads of equipment. And you can find me on my Twitch, which is just Louis Beneventi.
Fair play.
So yeah, that's good. That'll be Twitch and YouTube be coming in a couple of weeks. I've got to I've ordered all the equipment. I just need to set it all up and not have a... Yeah, and I'll do constructive conversations on Twitch. And to be honest, I'm just looking to talk about anything at the minute, including hairline and whether we should go to Turkey or not. But we can have that conversation together.
As soon as the lockdown ends, good value out there. Good value. Right.
Brilliant. Thank you both. And yeah, you guys subscribe if you are new. Check out my social media links in the description. I'll leave their social media links and their channels and whatnot in the description as well. So if you didn't catch what they just said, go to the description, you'll find it there. But again, you two, thank you for coming on. Next video for me on here will be a Q&A with my dad. That's going to be fun.
Oh, wicked.
That's the best video I saw on here ages ago. When a new one.
Quite a few asked for it, so I'm like, you know what? But my dad agreed. We're going to find the time and do it. That's going to be coming soon. So there's that, and then after that I will be having a collab with Alex Goldberg as well. We're gonna have a little discussion, so look out for those. And yeah, thank you both again. Enjoy lockdown, enjoy quarantine, and I'll see all of you really soon.
Peace.
Bye.
Grind